Joining us right now is Delaware Senator Chris Coons. He worked with a bipartisan group late last year to improve the MEP program. And Senator, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you.
I don't want to delve into the budget overall because I know the talking points that I would get from a Democrat or a Republican. I kind of have seen this argument again and again, but this program in particular is of interest to our viewership because of the program, the manufacturing and reaching out. So why don't we just focus on that and try to be as apolitical as possible looking at that program. This is a program that was started in 1988. It works with manufacturers. I think it's worked with something like 25,000 manufacturers over the years. And explain to us what that program does, why you think it's important.
Well, first, I'm someone who spent 8 years in manufacturing before I went into local government. And I'll tell you that in my 7 years in the United States Senate, I have visited dozens of small and medium manufacturers up and down the state of Delaware and heard from them directly the impact that the Delaware chapter of the Manufacturing Extension Partnership has had with them. It's a lot like Ag Extension. It connects folks who are on the cutting edge of research about how to improve manufacturing, who have skills in value stream mapping, in just-in-time inventory management, in quality control, and it makes them available as a training resource, a consulting resource to help small and medium manufacturers improve their bottom line, improve their workforce skills and training, and improve their competitiveness. This is about a $120 million program where it's got a remarkable return on investment. The latest study suggested that it grew $18 in new sales and $27 in new investment for every federal dollar spent. It also has a match. So this is a public-private partnership that I think has really demonstrated its effectiveness. And I'm struck by the administration's justification for its elimination, because in all my time in the private sector and the public sector, I haven't seen any comparable program that provides anything like the kind of significant, effective, hands-on help to small and medium manufacturers that the MEP does.
I've also seen statistics that say for every $1,500 of federal investment in this program, MEP creates or retains one manufacturing job. Were you surprised by this? Were there any signals ahead of time that the program would be defunded by this budget?
Well, the only previous signal was that it was specifically eliminated in the Ryan budget a couple of years ago. But I thought that was an outlier. This is a program that, frankly, has enjoyed bipartisan support. And I'm someone who likes to legislate here in a bipartisan way. And it's enjoyed support from Republicans and Democrats on the Small Business Committee on which I serve. And it's got successful programs in states across the country represented by both Republicans and Democrats. And given the focus that President Trump put on manufacturing and restoring and strengthening American manufacturing in his campaign, I was genuinely surprised to see it completely eliminated. There are other programs that help manufacturing in other ways that are significantly cut in this budget. Manufacturing USA by 70%, Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act by 40%, but those don't do the same thing. That MEP was targeted for complete elimination genuinely surprised me.
Senator, let's just take a 30,000 view of this whole situation, which is to say that this budget proposal, in large part, is dead on arrival. But I'm just trying to understand, from your perspective, how you think it ultimately impacts the way the Senate and, to some degree, the House think about budgeting going forward.
Well, I think it presents really stark choices. To look at the budget as a whole, it makes significant cuts in entitlement programs in Medicare and Medicaid. It reduces taxes, and it makes dramatic cuts across the board in lots of domestic programs.
But the question is, what is its influence going to be on pushing, for example, the Senate or the House when it comes to putting a budget together, pushing it to the right or not? Meaning, is it going to be completely ignored? How is it going to be considered and contemplated?
Well, I frankly think in many of the subcommittees on which I serve on appropriations, it will be completely ignored. That Republicans and Democrats will sit down and hammer out an understanding about what we think are the programs that should be sustained and which deserve a cut.
Right, Senator? I mean, that's the way it always is. Right? The President Obama's budgets were completely ignored, too, and they're written in Congress.
His most recent budgets were largely, or in the last case, completely ignored. That's right. But I don't think that's a healthy process. I think we should have consultation between the executive and the legislative. The executive branch runs these programs, and in our very large, very complicated government, I think it would be a much healthier process if we had a budget that was seriously entertained by the legislative branch and a budget that deserved to be taken seriously.
I know we keep calling them cuts, but we know that it's actually just a slowdown in the growth rate of most of these programs. I mean, you would agree that, we talk entitlement reform, but every time we even scratch the surface of any type of reform, we hear from people that it's cruel or people are going to die or whatever. It's going to be very difficult to ever get anything done.
Well, let's be clear. The manufacturing extension partnership in this budget is completely eliminated. It's not slowing the rate of growth. It's elimination.
Okay. All right. I was talking about
which I oppose.
Okay.
Senator,
All right.
thank you for shining a light on this issue. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.